Houston. Paul Houston, Podcaster 101. Sometimes in the life of a spy, fan, or con organist, events unfold that no amount of covert or Federation training could prepare you for. The events portrayed in this film have been shrouded in mystery for almost 30 years and have finally been declassified and will be revealed in a documentary called The Con of Wrath by Larry Nemechek.
Star Trek fan and branched out, or what got you into the fandom?
Primarily, I was a Star Trek fan, and you got to understand, back in those days, there were 3 channels. We didn't even have cable back then, unless you moved to a particular area. I started going to conventions in mid-'70s as a fan, as many of the other people that were involved in the shows were, and we all got together first as fans, and then became friends, and worked our way up into actually putting on the convention that led up to the Con of Wrath, which in my opinion, the con went fine other than a few little incidents that were beyond all of our control, but that's what happens when you're a guppy in a pool filled with sharks. And I was 25, I guess, then, so I certainly don't have the wherewithal that I have now, but, you know, that's hindsight is always 20/20.
Hey everybody, Paul Houston, Podcasting 101 here, coming up on the fabulous Ken Son. Hey, my old buddy Jim Weishart used to come and have dinner all the time, and meeting up with a bunch of old friends here from my convention days in the 80s and 70s. We're going to be talking about a show called The Ultimate Fantasy, where we had the entire cast from Star Trek and rotating stage. It was all held in the Summit.
My wife did the calligraphy on them, and she wrote, "Dedicated to all whose hearts follow Star Trek." A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there lived a big bird nesting on a clay. He thought if he could hatch it and get it on the air, he'd make himself a fortune and build himself a lair. The day finally came and the story was born, and he let out a cackle. No more corn. So he flew from his nest with the clay in his claw, certain to sell it, for it had no flaw. The story he hatched within this yarn took place on a ship as big as a barn. Not only that, it was in outer space, far removed from the human race. Its crew searched the universe for worlds unknown to teach and learn and not try to own. And not only that, they built a new nation, this time known as the Federation. All of this taking place in the skies on a starship known as the Enterprise. Now, wouldn't you think with a plot like this, the big bird had what couldn't miss? Well, he landed in Burbank on Hollywood Way and headed east to sell his play. Things weren't as easy as he thought they'd be, particularly when dealing with NBC.
And there's Bill and Mark.
Hi, Paul. Hello, Paul.
Here we got Mark Dowman, and
Yes.
Over here we got the renowned Bill Parker.
You're renowned. Not regular noun. You're renowned again.
Yeah, not a regular now. No, you can't. No, there's nothing regular about our crew.
Perhaps.
I am very honored to announce and present to you Mr. Harv Bennett.
Thank you, Kerry. Okay, guys, start the turntable. If I don't get seasick, we'll get through all this. What a lovely welcome. I thank you all. I can't tell you how delighted I am with what I've been hearing, as Kerry says, standing back there in the dark, because I hear all the affection for what we have done and save some for a lot of wonderful people I know you're going to meet and whose faces you do know. Sometimes after I heard Kerry's introduction, I feel like a guy ought to do an American Express card commercial. Do you know me? I'm the guy who went through hell trying to get Star Trek II done.
At some point, someone has to tell me on camera why the thing was called KrogerCon. You lost your hotel,
okay,
but it's okay.
Well, we looked everywhere to find a place that we could get in literally before, within a couple of weeks span. And there was a Kroger store in Meyerland Plaza that was vacant. We were supposed to have Jimmy Doohan as our guest. Well, Jimmy had a heart attack, and we ended up getting Walter and George for 81, and I believe that's where the Ultimate Fantasy was born for the next year. And it rapidly grew. Originally, I believe it was supposed to just be part of HoustonCon, and then it grew so much that we ended up having to get it and put it over in the Summit. So there were actually two distinct groups here. There was HoustonCon, which I was still in charge of and running, but all of my support people, staff was still with me, but all my support people, Bill Parker, Catherine Scarrett, you name it that you see in the program book, these were all my right-hand people that we were running conventions together for a number of years leading up to that point, and then for a couple of years after, until we all lost all hope and will to continue on in this crusade and had to go do other things in life.
Are you going to record Beyond Antares at the Shamrock at the convention?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm going to go over and sign autographs for them.
Beyond Antares was originally in the episode The Conscience of the King.
Conscience of the King, yes.
Ask you something and see what your reaction is to it. I know everybody would like to hear it. Could we impose upon you to sing it?
Certainly. Whitney?
That's your brother? Oh my God.
That's my brother Garen.
He was so cute. But he was so young. And that was John there. It was so second. Who is this guy? Who is that guy?
Nobody's looking at it.
I know, but I'm just like, you had a picture on your thing too. There's one guy, I'm like, who is that guy?
Who's the one who was
the black guy? That's Harold, I believe. Harold Webb.
The band at the very beginning. Oh, that was
Paul. Is that Paul, your cousin?
No beard.
That's my brother, Garen.
That wasn't Garen on the ground with the trying to get people to donate and throw in the program book.
I thought that was you on the ground.
No, it wasn't.
I didn't get into Star Trek until they started rerunning them. So I was a Lost in Space fan when I was 12 or whatever age I was at that particular time, and then I got into Star Trek during the reruns. Then they quit running Trek, and there was no other sci-fi for the most part coming out on our 3 local channels. So I started going to one of Earl Blair's mini-cons, literally out of desperation that I need some sci-fi in my life, and I met a lot of other cool geeks. Nerds seems to be the popular term these days, for people that are proud of it in social media. I'm a nerd. Whoa. Back then that nerd wasn't necessarily a good phrase,
Hair color's wrong.
I'll have to play it back again, because I can only watch it once.
I looked at the frame grab. That's not me.
Faster.
Anyway, I realized at that point that I was going to have to work with him a little bit more on the details of doing an actual film.
That's John. There's this guy. Come on, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Is that you? Oh my God.
Apparently you're God now, so.
We are using an Android tablet straight out of Star Trek.
So what's happened since then is I've sent Larry a couple of suggestions on he needs to storyboard it, he needs to give us an idea of what we're going to do. I needed a list of equipment that he wanted to use if he wasn't going to ship it here from LA.
Do you have a USB port on the thing?
Yes, but no. Not with me.
No. You don't have any adapter cord or USB that I can put in there?
It doesn't look like it. He does have a memory stick.
Yeah, there is a USB port on it.
We'll borrow that 1 second. Any order, any direction whatsoever going on. So also Walter took control and wrote out these directions for me for how the show was going to go.
Okay, read it to us.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Notice it's on guest quarter station.
Yep.
That's where you would stand, right?
That's right. That's what we had them saying.
Number 1, type of music. Number 2, Carrie O'Quinn introduced on what?
So it's a run order.
The people that were playing the music.
It's a run order instruction.
It's a run through. Yeah.
was Carrie
On the
O'Quinn?
back side, he gives me the directions.
Carrie O'Quinn's the man that wrote the 11-page, I think it was, or 18-page thing for Starlog. The Starlog guy.
Theater
Only, it looks like to me. Is it dark? Only.
Something red stage.
Red stage lights on.
PA. 3, stage lights only. Yeah, maybe that was on. All right. Carrie O'Quinn introduced theater dark, only red stage lights on over PA.
I haven't talked to
3.
Larry since before that show.
3.
Before the ultimate band? You just decided you were going to smoke him again?
No.
They don't seem to care.
I guess not.
I'm listening.
But it was kind of like neutral from
Go on.
Stage lights only as Carrie O'Quinn
I'll
talks,
cut that part.
introduces film to be screened from tape. The heck is that word? What is that word?
Oh, let me read it.
Oh, I don't know, but that's what scans are for, and you throw them up. I'm
picked it up off the stage. But he got the mic and started walking around the rotating deck, on the fixed deck, mowing down music stands with the mic cable. So I ran up on stage, grabbed all the music stands. At this point, I'm ready to go down and kill the kid. And Shatner, but Shatner was in front of everybody.
He's got more lawyers than the kid.
Exactly. So I took all the music stands off stage and put them under the stage, way under the stage, and walked over.
Kirk would have kicked your ass.
Yeah, well, walked, and of course when I'm up there, Shatner said something along the lines of "tall, skinny aliens," but he did that while I was there.
And we welcome you to where are we? The summit. And hope you're going to have a good time. Something's happening. I don't know what. Something weird is going to happen. Now where's your silver suit? Those are actually aliens with large ears. You can see them.
So,
working it in the show.
I was trying to keep a smile on my face because I was in the spotlight at this point. I went from there back over to the stage manager's desk where the controls for the stage were. Now keep in mind, the stage isn't moving at this point. It's supposed to be. Shatner's supposed to be on it writing.
It turned and stopped.
Well, I heard that somebody put nails in the commutators. The story I heard.
That's another story. But I walked over to the stage manager's desk and turned it on, making the comment, if he doesn't want to write, he can damn well run from it. And so it started to go, and the kid goes, "What are you doing?" He turned it off. Let's stop.
So you're trying to knock William Shatner off the stage.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that on tape.
It wouldn't have mowed him off the stage. It would have just made him keep moving.
You moved like herding cattle.
Right, exactly.
Move, Mr. Shatner, move.
I figured eventually he'd get up on the stage. Now, I got a rule. They finally turned it off, and I walked away and decided it wasn't worth pushing. But that was one of the reasons that Walter got involved and started writing. No, it's not because of that. Partly probably because of that, but also because the kid didn't have a clue.
That was the thing.
He didn't have a clue.
It wasn't because what was going on.
There needed to be some direction, and I was the direction. I was the one that had rehearsed this. I had been part of it. Yeah. I've been the one that should have been calling the cues. Yeah. There was for a show like that, you don't generally have a director.
the hierarchy through the whole system was
Might have been better if you had somebody who was doing everything. Who was basically just keeping the timeline going.
Well, that was what Bill was doing, or what he was supposed to be doing.
If there had been anybody in there that had the overall timeline that would have been doing that position, it was Jim Simpson. And he was still doing a lot of that stuff along with Walter.
That's right. He was the producer. He was named as the producer.
He was named as the producer, but he wasn't called the director.
Right.
We didn't have a director. I was the stage manager.
Yeah.
I was the one calling the shots with the crews, with the stage movement, with what was happening. If something changed during the show, I was the one that knew how to deal with that.
Once the show starts, the stage manager is a guy.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
So
as I recall, Jim only messed with just the technical aspects on the stage and helped out on the and things like
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
So these are the kinds of stories. I mean, there's that story. There's the story about the nails that were used as pivots in the commutator that blew up all the power in the Summit when we first plugged it in.
Mr. Magnesium.
There's the story about
the flaming balloon.
Yeah,
the
somebody that decided
fire
to
up
change.
in the catwalk. I love that one.
There's the story about the guy that decided to change the formula for what was going off above the balloon without telling the pyro designer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now break for a 15-minute intermission. Thank you.
Yeah, we were all geeks, nerds. We all had one thing in common. We loved Star Trek. We loved science fiction. So I originally started off joining a group called Staff after going to a couple of conventions, which a good friend of mine, Collie Evans, one of my best friends, was killed in a car accident right after the HoustonCon 82, a.k.a. the Con Rat. Another good friend, John Landick, was also part of Staff, and he actually made the Lon's party a success because he put up $500 on his personal credit card and paid for all of the Star Trek guests to dance there at a big fancy disco called Lon's here in Houston Saturday night after the Saturday night show at the Summit. And unfortunately, John's no longer with us too, but there were many people that got together who put on a number of conventions leading up to the HoustonCon 82. And most of us were very, very good friends. And the unfortunate part is that we all got so disheartened, by all of our dreams getting dashed on the rocks that literally we all had to go pursue other careers and kind of drifted apart over the years. So what is being done here with the documentary has certainly brought a lot of good old friends back together again, and it's really been a great thing.
About the technical journal, I know you've complained that there have been no tournaments. You must understand, of course, that we do have phasers. You set them on disintegrate and aim very carefully.
Understanding that Chekhov wasn't in Space Seat. He was in Space Seat. He was stationed on the 3rd level. He was having what is the 23rd, well, it's called Nirabatsa's Revenge, which is sort of like Montezuma's Revenge, but it's a 23rd century version of it. He was ensconced in the bathroom on the 3rd level for, I admit, a very long period of time. Poor Khan was trying to get in. Finally opened the door. He saw me and went, "Ooh, I never forget a face."
Well, you really have enlightened us about all your intimate secrets, and we're glad to know that. And when you get a chance to command your own starship, you and George can fight over that. We'll look forward to seeing you again. Thank you for coming.